In July 2026, the temperature in Jakarta hit 38 degrees Celsius. That's over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And the heat index, what it actually feels like when you factor in humidity, pushed past 45 degrees. But here's the thing nobody tells you, this isn't a heat wave. It's not a temporary weather event. It's a structural problem baked into the city itself. And it's getting worse every single year. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Jakarta feels like an oven and what it would actually take to cool it down. Let's start with the data. According to BMKG, Indonesia's meteorological agency, the average temperature in Jakarta has risen by roughly 1.5 degrees Celsius over the past 30 years. That might not sound like much. But in climate terms, it's enormous. A 1.5 degree shift in average temperature means the extremes are far more brutal. In March 2026, the average monthly temperature hit 27.1 degrees Celsius, 0.4 degrees above the 30-year normal. And BMKG predicts the peak won't come until August or September, when maximum daily temperatures could push even higher. But here's the critical detail: Jakarta's official temperature readings don't tell the full story. Because the city has a secret ingredient that makes everything worse. BMKG has been very clear about this. What Jakarta is experiencing is not a heat wave in the meteorological sense. Heat waves are defined as prolonged periods of abnormally hot weather lasting days or weeks, and they typically happen in high-latitude countries. Indonesia sits on the equator. The temperature variation between seasons is small. So a heat wave here looks different. It's called a hot spell, and it's driven by a combination of factors that are all getting worse. First, the transition from rainy season to dry season means less cloud cover. Without clouds, the sun's radiation hits the ground directly, and all that concrete and asphalt acts like a giant heat battery. Second, the potential return of El Niño in the second half of 2026. BMKG says the current ENSO phase is neutral, but a weak to moderate El Niño could develop, which means less rain, longer dry periods, and even higher temperatures. And third, the factor that makes Jakarta uniquely vulnerable. The one that's entirely man-made. This is the most important concept in this entire video. The urban heat island effect. Here's how it works. Natural surfaces like soil and vegetation absorb solar energy and release it through evapotranspiration. Basically, plants sweat, and that sweating cools the air. But concrete, asphalt, and glass don't sweat. They absorb heat during the day and release it slowly at night. The result? Jakarta's inner city can be 5 to 8 degrees Celsius hotter than its surrounding rural areas. A study published in Science Direct confirmed that both daytime and nighttime temperatures in central Jakarta are substantially higher than in nearby regions. And it's not just the big buildings. It's everything: the asphalt roads, the parking lots, the lack of parks, the density of vehicles pumping out heat, the air conditioning units that cool the inside of buildings but dump heat into the streets. A Reuters investigation in 2026 showed that even small green spaces make a measurable difference in urban temperatures. A park the size of a city block can lower surrounding temperatures by 2 to 3 degrees. But Jakarta is losing green space, not gaining it. The city's rapid development has prioritized buildings over trees, and the heat is the price. This isn't just about comfort. Extreme heat kills people. According to the DKI Jakarta Health Office, prolonged exposure to high temperatures can cause dehydration, heat exhaustion, and the most dangerous condition, heatstroke. When your body temperature passes 40 degrees Celsius, organs start to fail. The most vulnerable groups are children, pregnant women, and the elderly. Their bodies are less efficient at regulating temperature. And in a city of over 10 million people, with millions more in the greater metropolitan area, that's a lot of vulnerable people. The health office recommends, drink plenty of water, avoid outdoor activity between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., wear sunscreen and protective clothing, and limit diuretic drinks like coffee and tea. But these are band-aid solutions. They help individuals cope, but they don't fix the underlying problem. The good news? Unlike rising sea levels or earthquakes, urban heat is reversible. Cities around the world have proven this. The solutions are straightforward: more green spaces, green roofs on buildings, reflective or cool pavements that absorb less heat, and better urban planning that prioritizes ventilation corridors. BMKG and Brin have both emphasized that long-term mitigation requires government action, increasing green open spaces, improving water management, and designing buildings that don't trap heat. Jakarta's heat is a slow-moving disaster. But unlike floods or earthquakes, this one is reversible. The question is whether the city will make the choice to cool down before the heat becomes unlivable. If you found this video valuable, subscribe. I make deep dives like this every week. Drop a comment. Have you felt Jakarta getting hotter? What changes have you noticed?